Politics lead. It's quite an image, the way Politico tells it. The Speaker of the House taking a drag on a cigarette and explaining to the president off the record that he'd been, quote, overrun by a faction of his own party. But is that really what happened? And with less than 3 months to go to the next fiscal fight, what can we expect from Speaker Boehner now? Let's bring in our panel. Columnist for the New York Times, Ross Douthat, Associate Editor for The Hill, A.B. Stoddard, and columnist for Bloomberg View, Margaret Carlson. Ross, I want to read something from your blog that I found interesting, from your blog. A lot of smart conservatives with deep knowledge of previous eras in our politics and our experience in fields where the behavior of the House caucus simply wouldn't fly are projecting their knowledge, their smarts, and their experience onto a situation that's a lot more out of control than they realize or are willing to admit. You think that this is chaos and it's going to be with us for a while?
I actually don't know if it's going to be with us for a while. I think that the absolute best case you can make for John Boehner's leadership over the last few weeks, and I want to be clear, I'm not making a strong case for John Boehner's leadership, but the best case is that basically he gave the faction that overran him or whatever enough rope to hang themselves with and let them sort of run through the shutdown and get it out of their system, and now maybe things are going to be a little saner. So that's I think the best case scenario for why he allowed things to go as far as they did. Better to have a shutdown now than to have a sort of succession of smaller crises over the next year.
I think Ross is optimistic about the future in that they could be addicted, this tiny caucus, addicted to blood, like vampires. They tasted and they need more.
Technically, vampires aren't addicted to blood, though. They just need it to survive,
live. But
right?
no, they need it to live.
I appreciate the clarification.
That's
a
fact checker.
A vampire fact check. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Time Magazine. Thank you. So there's a need for it, whether it's to live or just to go on in this kind of political atmosphere. We have no drama Obama, and then we have a caucus that poor John Boehner has to lead, where this was not something they didn't want to happen. They were itching for it, and each time something came up like, oh, maybe we can get rid of the medical device tax. No, they were with Representative Stutzman, who said, we don't want to be disrespected, but on the other hand, we don't know what we want.
But here's again, the counter argument for optimism is that Boehner can't be overrun by 20 members, right? He can only be overrun if those 20 members have another 100 members who are scared to sort of cross them, right? And so again, the argument isn't that, sure, in a few months there'll still be 20 members who are happy to shut down the government. The question is, for the other 100, will they be able to say, okay, guys, we played it your way last time, but we're not going to do that again? And again, yeah.
I think that's the point. If you look at, John Boehner told them all along, we're not going to default. So everyone knew that by October 17th, he was going to fold and go over to Steny Hoyer, the House whip on the Democratic side, and do a vote with Democrats that was going to disappoint.
You were 100%, as a Hill reporter, you were 100% sure that was going to happen.
Mitch McConnell, Boehner and McConnell don't default. They voted for TARP, and then their various campaign arms took ads out against Democrats saying that they voted for TARP. But the leadership was always at the table doing that. So they're not going to do that. So that they knew all along. So, okay, he gets 87 Republicans the other night. If he had done it just in the first couple hours of the shutdown, he would have had 30 Republicans. So he grew his vote and assured, as Ross said, a huge number of people beyond the leadership table that he gave this a chance, and it was a loser.
But none of this changes the fact that the last 3 weeks have been stupid and insane for the Republican Party. It's just understanding Boehner's strategy in dealing with a House caucus that didn't know what it wanted and was sort of scared to compromise and so on. It's not an excuse for the overall trajectory.
One thing that I know you heard covering the Hill, and I heard covering the Hill, is that early on, people in Republican leadership were saying, sometimes a kid has to touch a pot on a stove to realize that it's hot and you'll get burned. And I said, when we were coming to the end of this all, I said, well, have they learned that? And this source said, well, the 20 or so have not, and they may never, but everyone else in the Republican caucus has. But your point is salient. It wasn't 20 people saying, if you don't do this, John Boehner, we're not going to vote for you for Speaker in January 2015. It was a House caucus that had been swayed by the arguments of these 20 or 30 people.
Or was afraid to be perceived as crossing them, as sort of not being willing to touch the pot.
Some primaries from not the left, but say the moderate Republicans against people like Justin Amash of Michigan, might change that a little bit, which is being called a squish or a rhino by the 20 or more like the 40, is not as much of a threat as has been in the past, where you're so afraid of being primaried from your right, you can't risk being called names.
Yeah, although so far, really, I mean, the Michigan case aside, the number of primary challenges is almost
pretty
all
small.
and it's almost all from the right.
Let's talk about going forward now. AB, the Cook Political Report has moved 14 seats in the Democrats' direction. That's not to say that they are now Democratic seats, Republican seats, but they're not as solid as they once were. Do you think that this is going to have any far-reaching effects on control of the House?
No, I'm just, count me out among the people who think that this is going to be a long-lasting benefit to the Democrats, and that a wave is going to build throughout 14 that's going to help them in Obama's 6th year in office, defending Obamacare, which is now live online with so many problems for the 3rd election in a row and a fragile economic recovery. I just don't see that there's enough competitive seats and enough of the makings of a wave for them. I think Republicans are going to have a good midterm election. All of their base is going to be excited about this and turn up for those people in those red districts and everywhere else. There's a couple of seats in play, not many, 12, 17. So I think the lesson that that is going to be learned from that is really worrying what you call the establishment or sort of old guard of the old Republican Party, that will produce a terrible 16 for them, a 15 where the party goes to the right, picks a nominee that's way too far to the right because they think they had a great midterm in 14 like 10, and that's what the whole country's feeling.
Well, your soothsaying abilities are quite...
That's what they're worried about. I'm not. It's not what I. No,
That's
it's not
what
what
we
I'm
need to
worried
know.
about.
No.
It's Republicans are
Ross
worried
is
about
moving
right
on
now.
to 2020.
Well, Ross, we were talking about this during the break. You think now that the focus is now back on Obamacare and these websites having problems, things might return. There might be a little bit more balance when it comes to the bad 3 weeks of Republicans.
I think that in the aggregate, the political impact of a totally failed Obamacare rollout is going to be bigger than the political impact of the shutdown. Now, we don't, we're still only a few weeks in. There's time for the White House to sort of, get their arms around the problem or around the keyboard or, whatever metaphor you want. But the reality is this has been, I'm a conservative. I've been skeptical of Obamacare. The one thing you assume about the Obama White House is that they know how to build a website. Right? I mean, this is what they do.
Unfortunately,
So-
that's all the time we have. AB Stoddard, Ross Douthat, and Margaret Carlson, thank you so much.